Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's NewsNow podcast. I'd like to welcome David Green. I'm not sure of your lofty title with the Garden City comedy. I'm messing up the name right off the bat. You explain who you are. But the reason David is here, that I know. That is to talk about a new event that the Grimsby DIA is launching starting next Wednesday. We're recording this on a Wednesday, so a week today. It'll be down in Coronation Park. Be running 5 consecutive Wednesdays starting at 7 p.m. called Comedy Night in Grimsby. Dave, maybe you could just give a little background on your organization. Dave's organizing all the comics to be involved in the show.
Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks so much for having me here. My name is David. I'm the festival director. I guess
there you go.
Festival to be could be, but it's all me. It's whatever the
Lots
guy,
of perks
the guy at the Garden City Comedy Festival.
That's it.
For the last 5 years, we've been running a yearly festival based out of St. Catharines downtown, where we try and do our best to promote local talent and also bring in some of the best talent from around Canada to promote comedy in the region. And the good Grimsby local and funny comedian friend of mine, Mark Kosek, approached me a few weeks back saying there was some interest in bringing...
After he was sitting in that chair.
In this exact chair.
That's it.
Yeah. He's like, I want to do some comedy in Grimsby. There's a town of people who are looking for things to do and there's not comedy shows here. What can we do to fix that? So he went to about to try and put on some shows and then found out that he's actually going to move to North Bay at the end of September. So he's like, okay, I need somebody else who
That's
can...
a funny punchline, but...
So he approached me. He said, would you be interested to help bring some shows to Grimsby? And I said, 100%. Yes, sign me up. What can we do? And here we are.
Yep. So we just started talking about how and what and where. Again, it was a week ago today. And then we had a DIA board meeting Friday morning, and we distilled as much as we could in 2 days to make a decent presentation. And there was lots of interest, and there's been lots of interest since. So when we first talked, you thought that, that would be a good fit for this area, kind of halfway between Hamilton and St. Catharines, and I think it's a great fit too.
Oh, so do I. You have no idea how much pleasure it gave me to, once we got the green light to do the 5 shows, to email all these different comedians who have been at home and not been able to work and, not been able to pursue their passion and dream for the past year and a half. And hey, I got a gig for you and it pays here. Come in Grimsby, and putting money in pockets of comedians from all over. It felt so good to be able to, it's back. We're coming in. We've got crowds who are excited about
supporting local guys where we can.
Exactly.
And with 5 shows, there'll be 3 plus a headliner per show is the way you've got it set up. Maybe you might just want to talk about a couple of the people.
That's so exciting too that I can't believe that we were able to get the 5 headliners that we were able to lock down. We're lucky. If it was any time, ordinary time, they'd already be booked months and months in advance, but we're just lucky that they have some openings right now because things are just slowly opening up. So for our opening show, we have the hilarious Roy Day, originally from Jamaica, but based in Toronto now. Absolutely hilarious. We have Scott Falconbridge, who's agreeing to come down. If you don't know the name, but if you Google Scott Falconbridge, you'll be like, hey, I know that guy. I've seen him on Last Comic Standing on TV. I've seen him on Just for Laughs. Heard him on The Debaters. We have Ian Sirota, who's I just did a show with him a few weeks ago in St. Catharines and absolutely tore the place down. I cannot wait. We have Wes Zaharik, who, in all my times performing comedy, I don't think I've ever seen a crowd crack up more than that one particular show where they call him the prop man. So he's got all these different things and he's blowing toilet paper at audience and he's coming. He's a wild one. He's something completely different and unique. The crowd's gonna love him. And then our final show, finish off with a bang with my favorite comedian. Lucky, he's going back to the States. He would move to the States. He was doing all these big, huge bookings all over. He had to come back because of COVID. And we'd be able to get him just before he moves back to the States again, Jeff Leeson, to close out the final show, who's the king of crowd work. Just every single show, you can watch him every single day, and you would die laughing every time. It's all new every time, and it's going to be a good time.
Sounds like fun. And just on the timing, the shows are sponsored by the DIA, and the paper's covering the marketing cost and the sponsorship side of things. But part of the DI's mandate is to bring people downtown and create some activity downtown, and this fills that bill. And that's part of the reason with doing it Wednesday nights, which I know when we talked about it, as soon as I said Wednesday, you were like, excellent.
Yeah.
Because of availability, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's during the people right now they're yearning. Like it's been sold out
On both ends, people
yeah.
want to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people that are used to being in front of other people, man, that's like taking away oxygen.
Yeah, and it's a Wednesday night. You're outside. It's a beautiful park. You got fresh air. You're out, and it's a 7:00 start, so you don't wrapped up by 8:30. So you've still got It's not like you're out, going to the club. You don't get home till 11:00 at night. You got to get a babysitter all night. Bring the kids. It's family friendly. Like everybody can enjoy it.
Parking all around, highly accessible, and so on that, excuse me. The limit for the show is 100 people. Gatherings is 100 people. Yeah. All COVID protocols will be adhered to. So we're working with the Town Rec Services Department. They've had some other gatherings and events, so they know what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. So we'll be listening to everything they have to say. Just so everyone understands, when the capacity of the space gets to 100, and it's a park, so it's a bit of a soft, what is the space? But checking with the town, they noted if people are walking by on the sidewalk and they stop and watch the show for 5 or 10 minutes as they're out for an evening stroll or whatever the case is, certainly if they're outside the park, that's one thing. But sort of transient, stopping here or there, if anybody's curious. It's not like somebody's going to be running by and saying, we were over capacity. You have to go. Like if you're not sort of in the crowd and stationary, that's not part of the numbers. And also because there's a sidewalk that goes through the park, and some people may be walking from Main through to the Lions Pool, because Lions Pool will be open in the evening as well. It's still open for those purposes, and that walkway will be accessible, and it's not going to be blocked or anything like that. So those are some of the basic guidelines. We do expect to be learning as we go, as is everybody at this point in time. And I don't know if there's another step opening wise where maybe midway something might get expanded. I just don't know. And we're not going to plan for that because we don't know. But the idea, and we talked about this last week, this is a bit of a seed kind of thing. Kick the tires a bit, get the name out there and the community thinking about it. Because next year we might look to do something a little, certainly over more weeks. We would keep the Wednesday time slot because I think that benefits us booking wise, and maybe evolve it into something else that becomes sort of a comedy idol, just a spin-off, but something where young comics and new people, and maybe that's something you could speak to because you've done something like that.
I would love to help promote and grow local comedy here in Grimsby. For the last 6 years I've been running the Niagara's Top Comic competition, which is open to people from comedians from not even just comedians, anybody really who wants to get into try comedy all across the Niagara region. So we had 40 comedians sign up, and it's over like 6 weeks. So we have 8 comics on the show.
Now, do you jury that at all?
Yes, what we do, we reach out to local radio stations, local talent agencies, local venue owners, people in the industry, and so we always have 3 special local celebrity judges who judge who they think should go on. Then we also have an audience vote, who the audience will vote who they think goes on. And then for each round, like the top 2 will go into the next semi-finals and then into the grand final. And then once we get to the huge final, and it's always so much fun, like the community's so behind it to support this new talent. And then somebody will be named Niagara's Top Comic, and they get put on the big gala show that we do at the theatre. We promote them, we get them newspaper interviews, we get them professional headshots with G3 Designs downtown St. Catharines, and just do what we do to give them a boost, to take them from that amateur comedy level to make them step to professionalism.
Great. So, anything where the comics can get in front of people and get experience. Whenever you see the big shot guys on TV and such, they all say, number one, just get out there and do it. Do it over and over.
You do it and keep doing it. Eventually you'll learn. Material. The best way to learn is by making mistakes, and you're learning from it and keep on getting. That's what's great about doing these shows in Grimsby and how these shows have been popping up. Because when I first started in Niagara, I had to drive to Hamilton 2-3 times a week, every single week for like a year and a half before I'm like, okay, I got to spending too much gas. I'm like, I got to start a show in Niagara and in St. Catharines, and then not just give myself opportunities, but give these other new people these opportunities.
Yep.
Because when I first started too, there were maybe 6 to 8 other local guys I knew who did comedy, but it was very sporadic. Like shows would pop up at like a local comedy club like once every 3 months maybe. But now there is like no end of local talent coming up, and they're getting good too. I did a show in Niagara Falls last night with a lot of local guys and some guy I've not seen for a long time. But you can tell they've been hard at work writing and during this pandemic, and they came out. It was a good time, lots of laughs.
So with elsewhere in Niagara, like when I was in college and stuff in the 80s, Yuck Yucks was about the only place that I was aware of. Second City also, but you're getting into professional.
Yeah, that's the thing with Yuck Yucks. So they don't. Great club, but locally in Niagara, they don't do things to promote local talent. There's no amateur night. There's no open.
Well, that's
night.
what I was going to say. When you talk about doing a show, like, are you taking over a bar? Does a bar book you? Like, how do you cultivate it?
There's all kinds of different. So last night we were in a brewery in Taps Brew House downtown Niagara Falls. There is the amateur night at Showtime Comedy Club now on St. Paul Street. This on Saturday I actually performed for Cars. I was at a drive-in, and they put you on a stage. They project me onto the big screen, and people were honking their cars and flashing their lights. It's loud. That was a first for me, and I prefer real people, but it was a good time. It was an experience.
That just reeks of COVID. Oh man, wow. We've seen a lot of things we never thought we'd see, right?
Oh yeah.
So the Wednesday thing should work out quite well long run, and next year we may look to evolve it into something, and we're going to take off and go this year.
Oh yeah, especially with the centennial coming as well, something to celebrate Grimsby, and
and that's why this was initially planned. Like when I talked to Mark, we talked about getting together in the spring and planning something to come like late June, timeless summer, that kind of thing. But just two, so people understand, like you'll be emceeing the shows here.
Yep.
And you're a comic yourself.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you just were doing a show. So how did you get into it? And I'm guessing by your accent, you're not from the Falls.
No. You can tell I'm from Welland originally. No, I'm from Nottingham, England originally. I moved to Canada when I was 13.
Did you know the sheriff there?
We're tight.
You haven't heard that 1,000 times, right?
I grew up.
Had to.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm wearing the tights underneath.
There you go.
I grew up, in like the Montreal region. I grew up high school and college in over there. I went back to England for a few years when I was like 19, 20, 21. And when I turned 21, that's when I first stepped on stage at an open mic show in England. And then I moved back to Canada, and that's when I was like looking for stage time around Niagara. There used to be a club, it's not there anymore. The House of Comedy in Niagara Falls. And they used to have an open mic like once every 2, maybe 3 months. So I did that a few times. And then I started going to Hamilton and then meeting all different comedians. And they'd tell you, go to this show. And then it just evolved through this. It's a long time. It's like, 13, 14 years now performing Niagara. But after the last 4 years, I was able to quit my job and do it full time. And just loving it. I'm a lucky guy to get to. My job is to go around, traveling around, telling jokes to people, making them laugh. So.
Great.
It's a long road to get up there, but now we're here. I can't wait to bring more laughs to places like Grimsby.
And that's great. And timing's great. People need it. People need to get out, and what could be better than get out and have a couple laughs? That's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there anything else you can think of that you want to mention, need to mention?
Bring your own chair.
Certainly.
Chair, so you can sit.
Chairs or blankets. Chairs obviously best in case the ground's a bit damp.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows the park knows it's a shaded area and it's down a bit. So if there's been some moisture.
Poster one time, we've got BYOC for bring your own chair, but the C stands for chair, not cannabis. So let's know it's just chairs. What you can let's
Good
keep
point.
it. Yeah,
it's no alcohol. Family friendly though.
Exactly,
you should family talk
friendly.
About that too.
We want everybody to share the laughs. You don't want to be get a baby can't come because they're at home. Bring everybody. Come. It's a beautiful night. Let's hang in the park. Comedians are there. We'll have a good time, and let's do it again every
Wednesday.
That's
an important point. And next year, when we're doing other stuff and we're using maybe different venues around town as part of something more concerted, there might be some grown-up material.
Yeah,
that should be indoors. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So we'll see you Wednesday.
I can't wait, my friend.
And thanks very much. And just so you know, we have confirmed, I've already got restaurants lined up
Excellent.
who will host the
Fantastic.
performers on the Wednesday before the show. So we'll get that all set up. I know Teddy's and Casa Toscana and 40 Public House all lined
Cannot
up.
wait.
And there's a couple others I have to speak to yet, but the first three are in place.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, thanks very much. And if you're watching, see you at the park. That's July 28th, Wednesday, 7 p.m., Coronation Park, right by Food Basics on Main Street, Grimsby. Thank you very much, and see you later.